Hi everybody, today's my presentation is about Saint Teresa of Avila. Who's Teresa of Avila? Saint Teresa of Avila was a Spanish nun. She was honored to be saint in the Roman Catholic Church, known as Saint Teresa of Jesus. She is a mystic, a writer, and one of the women of Roman Catholic Church, who brought many notable religious influences to her society at that time. She was born in Avila, Spain on March the 28th, 1515, and died on October the 4th, 1582 at Alba de Tormes. She came from a family whose parents were pious Catholics. She is very close to her mother, who inspired her to take up a life of prayer. When she was a kid, she read stories of saints with her brothers and showed signs of piety. She was sent to Augustinian school to be educated when she was a teenager. A couple years later, she decided to become a nun and secretly went to Carmelite monastery. In 1560, encouraged by her spiritual counselor, Prior Saint Peter of Alcantara, she founded a reformed Carmelite convent. In 1562, she formed a new monastery named Saint Joseph. She worked very hard for a few years to establish new houses of her order. From 1567 to 1571, she formed several reform convents at Medina del Campo and many more in different locations. She wrote the book Life of Saint Teresa of Jesus of the Order of Our Lady of Carmel to share her story about how she became a nun and inspire Christians to communicate with God through mental prayer. Another book she wrote was Castillo Interior, to describe components needed to full prayer. She also wrote Camino de Perfection, or Way of Perfection, in 1566 to guide the nuns how to reach their goal. How did her text become masterpiece of world literature? The Life of Saint Teresa of Jesus of the Order of Our Lady of Carmel was one of her books, became a masterpiece of world literature due to her life was so excellent and the language used in the text was so beautiful that it translated into different languages and well known throughout the world. She devoted all her life to serve God by protecting, strengthening, and practicing of prayer. She became a nun and acted as a reformer. She had played an important role in her society to found a reformed Carmelite convent, correct the laicity in the cloister of the Incarnation, and convert Spanish Jews into Christianity. However, soon after she established a new monastery named Saint Joseph at Avila in 1562. She was involved in a scandal among the citizens and authority of Avila because her reformation was not welcomed by men. Men were asked to make sacrifices which they did not want to make, and violent passions were repressed. Even though she received many opposition from people in her town during her religious reform period, but she spent most of her time praying and caring for poor. She overcame all obstacles and established many more. monasteries at Avila. Many people recognize her as a reformer of Carmelite in the 16th century, a standard noteworthy figure in the history of the church. Who were her influences? There were 150 nuns in Carmelite order living with her. They were involved in Avila's religious reform. As a mystic, her writing influences generations of other authors. The mysticism in her work exerted a formidable influence upon many theologians. Who does Teresa remind me of modern time? I think Saint Teresa of Avila's achievement in history remind me of Michelle Obama, who was the former First Lady. Grew up in working-class neighborhood where many people did not go to college, including her parents. Mrs. Obama worked hard to gain an opportunity to study at Harvard University, one of the most finest university in the country, and became executive director of community relations and external affairs of the University of Chicago Hospital in 2002. In 2009, she became the first African American First Lady. She encountered many difficulties such as discrimination, racism among white people. However, her intelligence and great effort led her to be a very successful lady in America. To compare between Saint Teresa and Mrs. Obama, I admire these two ladies very much because both Teresa and Michelle was very patient people who always created the opportunities for them to develop the promise inside of them. I really like the two quotes below that they make. So Saint Teresa said, "Let nothing trouble you, let nothing frighten you. All things are passing. God never changes. Patience obtains all things. He who possesses God lacks nothing. God alone suffices." And Mrs. Obama, I learned a lesson from her when she said one of the lessons that I grew up with was to always stay true to yourself and never let what somebody says distract you from your goals. And this is my bibliography. Thank you for listening. Bye.